Ben was still a paranoid old man. First time meeting Leo, he shouted, "Go away, Aunt Zarenia," quickly pulled Leo aside, stuffed the luggage to him and left hurriedly. Ben not only ignored it, but also locked him outside. Leo's parents both died early. Now, Ben also doesn't want him. He has to crawl into the sheep pen, cuddling with the cute little lambs. Actually, after Ben closed the door, he was secretly watching him from the window. The next day, Ben found Leo in the sheep pen. He shook a spoonful of goat milk and handed it over. Leo happily drank it all at once. He thought Ben had accepted him, but Ben turned around and took him to see the pastor. After the pastor is done in a few days, he will send him to another family. If no one wants to adopt, then he can only send him to an orphanage. Upon hearing this, Ben stubbornly said, "No one is waiting when the tiger comes out." On the way back, Ben walked ahead without turning around. Leo, feeling wronged, asked Ben, "He didn't love to send your shoulder?" Leo turned back to look outside, then happily ran back into the house. But he found Ben only had a table and a bed here, no place for him to sleep. However, there was an attic. It was filled with lamb feed. Leo did not dislike it, because he had no other choice. He told Ben he didn't want to go to the orphanage. Ben didn't say a word, but he had already decided. The next day, Leo drank Ben's goat milk early, prepared goat milk. Then, with Loppy, they grazed sheep on the Alps, grazing sheep on the mountain. Loppy takes him to roll on the grass and teaches him to fight groundhogs. Only the groundhog's calls are different from his memory. When Leo returns home, Ben had already made him a new chair. Leo knew Ben finally accepted him, but not long after, his aunt suddenly came over. She said a wealthy family wants to adopt Leo. They will treat him like their own daughter. Ben completely ignored Aunt, because back then when he abandoned Leo, it was this woman who abandoned Leo to the husbandman. Why couldn't he make his aunt less scary? Ben didn't listen to his nonsense anymore, but this woman's malice had already surpassed Ben's imagination. He didn't come or go anywhere. Instead, he found Leo halfway up the mountain, deceiving him by saying Ben had abandoned him. Leo looked disappointed, thus followed Aunt and left the mountains. When Ben realized he couldn't even see Leo's shadow in town, Ben was both angry and guilty. He hated Aunt's cruel heart and blamed himself for not protecting Leo, but he couldn't do anything. At this moment, Leo had already been forced onto a train by Aunt. The girl had been happily with Ben for a few days, but then was sold by Aunt to a rich family. Here she can't eat big mouthfuls. Leo was disliked as a countryside girl, so she was targeted everywhere. However, Leo met a kindred spirit here. Her name is Ella. She is the young lady of the family. No matter Leo's mistakes, Ella will always protect him unconditionally and patiently teach him to use knives. Leo would also, when no one was around, secretly push him to go to town to relax. Seeing Leo likes kittens, Ella bought a few for him, but the butler was allergic to cats. This made him look foolish in front of servants. To retaliate against Leo, the butler punished him by making him face the wall and banned him from eating for a day. If it happens again, he would make him sleep with the livestock. Does Leo miss mountain freedom? After packing, he was ready to find Ben, but the butler told him, when he just arrived at the family, Aunt signed a work contract for him. He can never return to the mountains. Leo finally understood. He was sold here by Aunt. But the more so, Leo missed Ben more. No matter when, he kept mumbling about the mountains and would hide some bread. Over time, Leo got homesick. The owner invited a psychologist, so the doctor advised him to send Leo back to the mountains. The owner told this to Ella, but to him, Leo is his only support. If Leo leaves, he can only have a wheelchair. Ella locked herself in the room. No matter how Leo shouted, he didn't respond. The owner comforted Leo, then asked why he hid the bread. Loppy's grandmother had bad teeth. Leo wanted to bring soft bread for her. Upon hearing this, the owner agreed to Leo going home. Before leaving, he gave him a box of bread. Leo took out Ben's carved lawang, asked the owner to give it to Ella, hoping he can visit the mountains. Leo boarded the train home. First thing he did upon returning was to give bread to Loppy's grandmother, then changed back into simple clothes, happily ran to Ben, and hugged Leo tightly. After returning home, Leo picked up Ben's goat milk and drank it, then washed his face in the nearby stream. Looking up was a group of Loppy's little lambs. Everything here was familiar, and Ella received Leo's letter. He looked at the lawang in his hand, decided to visit Leo in the mountains. The next day, Leo was grazing with Loppy. Upon seeing Ella, he rushed over immediately. The two friends gathered again. Ella taught Leo how to eat in the city. Now it's Leo's turn. Leo teaches him how to eat in the mountains. If he opened his mouth less, it would hurt his belly. Ella started to learn properly. Loppy watched them from the side. Since Ella came, Leo hasn't spoken to him. This made Loppy's rough methods He mocked Ella's physical defects. To retaliate, he stole her wheelchair, then angrily pushed her off the cliff. When he came to his senses, he realized his big mistake. Loppy dared not see Leo again. Only Ben knew Loppy did all these bad things. He had to carry Ella to graze sheep on the mountain, put her on the stone. Ben went to attend his own affairs. At this moment, a butterfly landed on his foot, but quickly flew away again. Ella reached out to catch it. At this moment, he hadn't realized. He actually stood up. Leo and Loppy hurriedly supported him. With both's help, Ella began to practice walking again. Meanwhile, Ella's father also came over. He didn't understand why his daughter liked it here. Everywhere he went, there were broken houses and stepping on sheep dung balls. Until he saw the scene in front, he then realized and hugged Ella tightly. And grandmother also gave a gift to Leo. It was a storybook, but it was blank inside. Grandmother told him he must fill the storybook himself. Leo smiled happily, because being a writer is his dream that was mocked and suppressed. A person's birth environment can't be changed. The only thing that can change is our mindset. Keep smiling at life and challenges. It's the best respect we can give ourselves. Just like Leo's name, the sea embraces all rivers without taking. That's the end of the movie recap. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more great movie recaps.